Quiet on the set. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. I'm DearMYRTLE, your friend in genealogy. Welcome to part 3 of our, it's an adventure. It's more than a class. It's an adventure to be learning about how to do genealogy research in Serbia with Father Ivan being our mentor. Now, we have a couple of people here. Karen's here and Pat's here. I'm very glad to see you this morning. While we have a moment, let me pull this up and show you. There is a 16-page handout you're going to flip when you see it, ladies. Totally. And so if you would want to open that now, you can start printing it and make notations, etc. But what I'm going to do is stop screen sharing. Father Ivan, go ahead and start screen sharing as well. All right. And while he's doing that, this has just been for me an extraordinary experience. Oh, good. Go ahead and start from the beginning. Click that button. You're almost there. We can see it. And I just cannot thank Father Ivan enough for preparing us to tackle the fun challenge of doing research in Serbia. And I think this is the beginning of the public opening and public access to records as we would hope we could have. Okay, Father Ivan, 1 second here. I will spotlight you as the speaker. And okay, we're both there. And almost there, it's just me. Okay, Cousin Russ, are we good to go?
Good to go.
Good to go. Okay, take it away, Father Ivan.
Thanks. And hello, everyone. I am Father Ivan Delic from Belgrade, capital of Serbia. And I would continue on my presentations about the genealogy research here in Serbia. In first parts, there was mention and researching vital record books, but now I am going to present archives and libraries and etc. Research and repositories and funds and published materials available here in Serbia for helping others who have interest in learning Serbian heritage and Serbian families. Many of them are available online as well as in repositories itself. First is map of Serbia with 3-4 major parts of it. On the west here is an area called the Vojvodina in Serbian, and in English it will be like a Duke land.
Okay.
Central part is Serbia itself, major Serbia, so you should call it like this. In the south part is Holy Land from Serbia. For Serbians, it is Kosovo, and Kosovo and Metohija. Metohija is property of monastery. In our case, it is monastery of Hilandar, Manastir Hilandar, and Patriarch of Peć, town in Kosovo. In also southwest part is Montenegro. South of us, from us, is Skopje for Greece, and Macedonia for us in ex-Yugoslavia. It is about me as presenter. I was born in October 16th, 1870 in Čačak, western part of Serbia. As teenager, I started to ask questions about my relatives because every 2 or 3 months, all relatives came together to meet in the village, to work together. and spent about 15, 20 days, and I had the opportunity to meet all of them. But now I am sad because I didn't record their narratives, their oral history for me, and any other of us. I became priest in 2008, and 10 years later, I was starting to do my genealogy research. Like it is now? Is it now? Before that, I didn't have time or maybe opportunity or knowledge how to do it. But then I started with the simple help of many people, Krista Kauman and the Rus. And here in Serbia, many of them helped me to find what I am searching for. And I built 2 pages, genealogy pages, one in Serbian and second in English, for better expressing how is my research doing, what I am doing about. First, doing genealogy research are not for people who based their knowledge about the family only by their oral history. My grandmother told me this, and it is only thing I know. For example, my own mother had 4 birth dates. February 7th and February 21st in 1846 and 1847. 2 dates in one year and 2 in other year, with 4 documents proving each of those dates.
Oh.
Which is proper date I didn't know until I got my genealogy research going, and simply asked my grandmother, her mother, was it after or before one of Orthodox Christian holidays and special dates for us. That special date is February 15th. On February 15, modern Serbia again their constitution and laws going in 1835. So my grandmother told me, even it was before. So February 21st was out of question.
Mm.
And then I asked her, what day was it? She said, Thursday. Thursday, February 7th, was 1846. On 1847, it was Friday.
Mm.
So I now know what was exact birth date for my mother, but it took many years for understanding and finding. And also, I had some issues about connecting a lot of branches in my family, because my grandfather, how to say, father of my grandmother, had 18 children.
Oh,
and
my
all of them
heavens.
had their own families and so on. On father's side, his grandfather also had 21 children. So it was large effort for me to do so. As I said here, main resource groups are archives, libraries, online resources, as well as published materials stored in some places, for some in libraries, but some are in private holdings of authors, of publishers itself. Here is map of old Yugoslavia, ex-Yugoslavia, with areas in it. As you see in Croatia, Slavonia is on north part. In south part, there is Dalmatia, and Krajina was border between Ottoman Empire and Austro-Hungarian Empire. It is now border of Bosnia and Croatia, and it is important for me to get that map, because almost every one of us here in Serbia have relatives in other now countries of ex-Yugoslavia. For example, I have relatives in Slovenia, in Croatia, and in Macedonia, some of them in Montenegro. And many of them were migrating from one part of the country, or from one area, one region to another region. And first, the main group of research here is also, of course, archives. There are state archives, main archive here in Serbia, in Belgrade. And for whole country, I didn't check my spelling, my words. And about 25 to 30 local archives, local historical archives for each area of region in Serbia. For example, in the north part of Serbia, Vojvodina, there are 4 regions there. They have the one main archives of for Vojvodina, and also about 10 to 7 local archives around Vojvodina. That state archives hold, as I wrote, texts, census and votes lists, as well as documents for building schools. Here in Serbia, to build a school, every village who wanted to school in it needed to write to Ministry of Education for permission and signed that appeal. So I found out about 200 people in each village of my interest, of my ancestors. About 250 people signed appeal, and among them were my relatives with proper document, proper proof that they are residents in their village on date of appeal. And also local archives had many local histories, many documents about migrations, because when someone migrates in Serbia from one region to another, they are obligated to pay tax for country. In other words, never mind about migration. And police department simply researched where was he now and paid tax. About state archives, it was properly established in last decade of 20th century, but in the first half of 20th century, there was simply request to gather around all documents about Serbia, all tax payments, who is not paying a tax, and so on. And it was here, as I mentioned, here is a link about history of state archives, and also at the bottom, in the middle, there are many people who comes to archives to research. They came for 2 lists: tax lists with the name of householders only, and the census list for all all residents in the house. Tax lists were built between 1822 and 1840. Some of them named only householder with their obligation, with his obligation to country, and some of them was about taxes, 2 parts of taxes. Each male resident of Serbia older than 21 years and married was obligated to pay tax, simple term for here in Serbia, but every male older than 7 years old was obligated to pay haraj, so-called haraj. It is tax for males above 7 years. And in cases in some house, some villages, there are many residents who was under 7 years old, and for them tax collectors wrote that they didn't pay tax, but wrote their ages. And it is important this way to simply find out when they were born. And after that, it is good for research vital birth record books and find the birth date of that people. In the archives link archive site itself, it is opportunity to research it in Serbian, English, German, French, and Russian. And under it, it is for researchers frequently asked questions. For simply answering a lot of questions that are already asked, and to get answers, to get to know archives itself before going to archive.
There's a question.
Yes.
Do female children under 7 and over 7 show up on this, or just the males?
No female at all.
Okay.
First, females appear in 1834.
Okay.
In north-south part of Serbia, around city called Šabac. It is city near Belgrade. In the area around Šabac, there was about 20 villages. With them mentioned the number of females. For
like
example,
generally the number of them,
generally
not specific.
Number of females. And females by name was first time put in the list in 1857 during first census in Serbia ever made. And 6 years later, it became a first census made for whole Serbia, because census in 1857 does not exist now.
Oh, okay.
Half of it is destroyed and lost, but census 1863 exists about 95% with the names of females in the house with their years, and in some cases there was names of a widow. If someone is a widow of men, she is a householder. She is first in the house, and after that their sons and daughters and etc. was simply put on the list.
Okay,
and
thank
about
you.
Yes, and that is around the state archives. There are local archives. I put a list link for them above. Archives in Serbia, full of lists, about 30 local archives. Here I was in this slide. I showed only 3 of them for my knowledge, to simply list some of them. First is archives of Vojvodina, with parts of Vojvodina in it, Srem, Banat, and Bačka, areas of Vojvodina. postal address, and website of it, and email. If anyone have any questions, and simply available to write to them. Second is Historical Archives of Belgrade. I will show it later with their online repository, digital repository. Also, postal address, website, and email address. And from my birth town, Čačak, there is local intermunicipality archives, because three municipalities holds their fonts in my Čačak. Especially last one is municipality Lučani, which is a main municipality for whole area called Dragačevo here in Serbia. And the men from Dragačevo was the best fighters for freedom in Serbia during war against Ottomans. And some of local archives, about 70%, maybe 80%, published every year their yearly publications with articles about local history there. Some of them published tax lists from state archives in Serbia. Some of them published census from 1863, main census here in Serbia. So it is a very good resource for anyone who is not able to go to Belgrade to spend about 20 days, 1 month, 2. Simply they had the opportunity to read published census for their areas. And also some memories, some other books. And in about 2-3 years, almost every archive is supposed to digitize all their funds, researched by genealogists, vital record books, census lists, tax lists, migrations paper, from which village did someone go to that village, to simply follow the path of migration. And nowadays, only one local archives have put online some of them those funds for researchers for free, of course. But first, everyone have to register on the site, which I showed you in our Facebook correspondence. But here is, I didn't know what happened. Yes, here is the most important funds in state archives. As I said, tax lists, census lists, knez. I don't know in English. It was a ruler of Serbia, something like king or president, and here his office with. And also government of Užice region, western region in Serbia. One publisher here in Serbia from that region published 2 marvelous books about whole migrations between 1815 and 1900. For maybe 80 years, everyone who moved in that region from all other regions or out of that region to other regions, he published state archives documents and put the signature, put all documents about it. Some of those documents listed names of his spouse, his wife, his children, and their years. And it is important for us to simply know that fact and go on with research.
I have a question. In Germany, when my ancestors lived there in the 1600s and 1700s, and of course it wasn't Germany as we know it today, for them to travel and leave their country, they had to have a document from their, I guess, Burgermeister or their local town saying that this person had permission to leave, that all their debts were paid. Was there any such protocol like that in Serbia, just to even move to another part of Serbia?
Yes, yes. There was protocol about getting passport for parts moves around Serbia from Montenegro, for example.
Okay.
Montenegro was other country,
Right.
and when someone from Montenegro came to Serbia, they were put in quarantine on border with a simple appeal to ruler, to Knez Miloš, and after investigations, there was decision: do they get passport or not? If
Okay.
not, they went back to Montenegro and Turkey, and also
Got it.
Ottoman Empire.
Okay,
And
got it.
yes. Samo čas da napišem za ovo. Someone asked me about family from Padina and Belo Blato. Both of them are around the city Zrenjanin, and it is archives, local archives in Serbian, in Zrenjanin, and that one could contact
Okay.
archives, which is on the list,
Okay.
on the link. Yes, and here our last part is of course tax lists, and here is first of those lists. It lists, for example, every tax book is in Serbia called, like in Turkey, in Ottoman Empire, it is called defter or defter, simple book for translating. And chibuk, word chibuk means a tax for goats and sheep.
Okay.
And every owner of goat or sheep was obligated to pay two monets, 2 grosz. It is called now in that days 2 grosz for 2 2 pairs for 1 goat, and 1 grosz was 40 pairs.
Okay.
So 20 goats or 20 sheep was 1 grosz. And for example, someone property value in that time was about 20 grosses, 20 to 50 grosses. It is approximately value. And so that tax was not so bad. 2 pairs it is not so so high. It was not so high. And they named the village at the beginning of each tax list. Simple area, region, area, county, and then town or village. And after that, here is first. Here is a village Lisa. Lisa like wood, simply green wood, and it is village from for my mother's father ancestors. And after that, it is. I'm sorry. It is not Lisa. It is Liplica, my father's ancestors. And first name and surname are listed. In
Okay.
the numbers means son of goats and sheep. For example, my grandfather Milutin, which is number 3,
Yes.
Milutin Delic. It is my surname, last name in Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
Had 35 sheep and goats.
Okay.
35 is higher in this part, and in the village about 22 householders.
Mm-hmm.
He was second highest. He was second richest man in the village. His brother by uncle, they are sons of two men, two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Milutin was son of one man, and Johan was son of another brother. And as you can see below, it is source citations and references.
So I'm thinking that main cash register means the main tax collector.
Yes, but
Mhm.
here in Serbia, it is something like a Ministry of Finances.
Yep, that's a good phrase. That
Ministry
makes
of
sense.
Finances was established in 1835. Before
Okay.
1845, it is in Serbia. It is named Main, like this,
Yes.
Main and Blagajna. When I asked any of my friends, what is translation for word Blagajna in English? It is cash register.
and to us,
But
that's
it
a
is-
machine.
Yes, but for here it is not like simple machine. It is
Yeah.
like safe.
A big safe to put it in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got
Big
it.
box, big and so on. And here is another part of tax list. I
Mhm.
mentioned about two taxes.
Mhm.
I mentioned Haraj tax and simple tax.
Mhm.
Haraj is everyone above 20 years old and married, and simple tax is above 7 years old.
Okay.
Under 7 years old, as you can see, number 2 here, it has 2 dots
Okay.
before, and 2 dots means this man didn't pay tax at all.
Oh, but he owed it, but
He
did not
was-
pay it.
Yes, he didn't pay it because he's 2 years old.
Oh,
He's a little
okay.
child.
Okay.
And here, his first name here was householder, and he was how to say main man in the village, ruler, governor of the village.
The mayor.
As governor, he was liberated from paying tax, first tax, Haraj tax. He was married, of course, but he didn't pay Haraj as governor of village. Next man, as you can see here, Pounds Stevanov is householder, and he paid both of them,
Okay.
full Haraj and full simple tax. As married man, as man over 7 years.
Okay.
Under householder, it is name and what is he to householder.
Relationship.
His
Wow.
relation to householder, yes. Here is named Janko, who is a brother of householder.
Okay.
And that this also means it is two dashes,
Yeah.
2 commas up, yes, and it is same. He was
Yeah.
also brother and also brother. Two,
So
three.
we,
So he had three brothers.
yes, we call those ditto, ditto, ditto marks.
Da. Thanks. Bob
Mhm.
is one also. Three of them didn't pay tax because they are little child. First is about 1.5 year and 6 and 3 years.
Okay.
And it is important because not only householder mentioned, but other male resident in the house and also their relation to householder to put together branches and put together all others. And
Mhm.
here we go to census list. Census list is first thing in Serbia to look for when someone go to archive. They go to search for census of 1863, full census or full names in it. But if someone go there and try to, like me, when I went to archives and search for my mother's ancestors, they are not even one of them mentioned in the census. They lived in the village in 1830, in 1831, 1832. Every year they existed in vital record books, church record books, every year, but they didn't exist in census. I transcribed whole census for that village. There was 91 houses there. Asked for help in archives. Many of them helped me by searching with me, researching. During their free time, during lunch, they didn't go to lunch, they searched my microfilm roll. No, not at all mention of anyone. And one of my friends told me to simply tell them one big mistake they made. They put microfilm roll with maybe 20 pages unreadable at all, fully dark, with no sign of letter, any letter. I told them so. Next day I went to archives and one of my very big friends told me, "Father, wait, everyone out. You said something about the letters, about bad handwriting census." Yes, I said. Well, read it. She showed me something I cannot forget in my whole life. Handwritten letter A in first page was the same as it was in maybe 1050, 540 page.
Mm.
Every page is the same. I was amazed.
That's incredible.
And that incredible I thought, that book was badly photographed, was badly microfilmed, and we put a copy of microfilm another time, made another microfilm roll, and she gave me that second microfilm roll with all letters fully readable.
Oh,
I said, what happened? I don't know that roll. I don't know number of that roll. It is not existing. Father, it is existing. I said, how? Simply, someone read name of the village, of a community, of county, as Jagodina, which is east part of Serbia.
okay.
And on the name of the box for the roll, it was written Jagodina. my ancestors were west part of Serbia. Count is not Jagodina, it is Ježevica.
Oh dear.
Fully different spot, fully different.
Yes.
So I was amazed. How did you find it? Our photographer told us what he did, what he microfilmed, and where is it now? And so I was back on the track, searching again and again, and no mention at all. And then one of my close friend from Čačak told me, Ivan, you have only one name which do not exist in whole region of Čačak. Only one. I had what? And he said that name exists only in your village.
Oh.
Any village around Čačak, about 100 villages, about 50,000 people, only one name is named. Like the name, it is named Yachim. But his last name was not proper last name. His last name was made but by name of his father.
Okay.
Yachim of Milinko.
That he was so and so, and the last name was his father's name.
Yes.
The first name of his father?
Yes. First name of the father was Milinko.
So we call that in Scandinavia and in Wales, we call that patronymics for father's name.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But here in Serbia, especially in that village, every other family in census lost patronymic.
Okay. Whoa.
Only one kept patronymic because ruler of Serbia ordered in 1860, 3 years before census was made, last name was not changeable.
Okay.
It is not impossible by law to use patronymic at all.
That's a significant thing.
Yes,
1860, did you say?
1860.
Got it.
1860.
Okay.
And I will put in the chat.
It's a pretty fast typist, wouldn't you say, Russ?
Slowly touch.
Yes.
Yes. And every other possibility it is good. It is good. It is good to search. It is good to read. It is very good if someone capture pattern for how to read it. What is when? What is in which part of the page? It is very good to read for reading and for searching, researching. And here I simply showed two my cases. First is that man called Yachim, but here in a census 1857, which I mentioned before, he was named patronymic as son of his father. But is in 1863, his last name was something like Stancic. And Stancic did not exist in any other document in my village. And so I didn't know, I didn't pay attention because his last name should be Bezanic, not Stan. I searched Be, and in Stan there is no Be. And it is not him, it is not important for me. Last name was not at all like mine last name, what I am searching for. And so Also, I have to mention that before 1995, all researchers have a permission to go to archive and search and read the census book itself. Now, census books are lost, are forbidden to search, to read, and researchers read microfilms rolls, and after that they could simply ask for photocopying of pages or for scanning those pages on DVDs and or on the paper or on DVD, which is not so bad at all, because for me I had like I showed patterns from church record books on DVDs in my local town church archives, and it is simple. It is gray paper with black letters on it. Very good hand writing and so. And in microfilm roll here in State Archives of Serbia, it is sometimes it was very hard to read it. And it was better for asking scan and then read it as on DVD and as digital image on DVDs. And it was, for me, it was worth to pay and to simply watch at home.
So,
what I under. And
so
yes.
Let me ask, well, first of all, we have a similar policy here in the United States. If you were to go to our National Archives, you do not look at the original census books. You look at the digital version. But if there's something wrong, like that you can't read, or the microfilm, that one page is black or whatever, they will look for it in the original. Same thing over in England, for instance, at the National Archives there. So the policy seems to be the same. Let's preserve the old document and use microfilm or digital.
Yes, I know, and I'm grateful for them for preserving all documents they have.
Yes.
Also, many researchers published parts of all areas of region of those that census.
Did you pay for the scanning? You said it was worth it to pay.
Yes, it was worth it to pay because it was about 15 cents per page.
Okay, yeah.
And well, I scanned about I think about 100 pages.
Okay.
Which was about 10
yeah,
to 15 euros. But I got my lesson on using modern technologies is back up your file.
Oh no. Yeah, I hear your pain.
Yes. And I was using three backup locations. One was external hard drive, which was shocked and pulled on the floor a few times and unreadable at all. Second was another external hard drive, 1 terabyte of data, and with about 5 gigabytes lost. And 5 gigabytes was my research.
Oh.
Only folder that was lost.
Oh no.
So it was about 2 months to get it back.
Oh dear.
Many of them, but many of scans were gone.
I hear you.
So it was good for me because I had transcribe in notebook almost every record I see in the archive.
Good.
But wanted to simply check again. But it doesn't matter now because there is also always opportunity to ask another scan I had written my pages, what do I want to scan, but when sometimes I need those scans, I would get them work. And so many publishers published their works, and authors published those censuses, and it was awesome. It was extraordinary. About 50,000 people named in the census, all of them named in published book. And so it was very good for others to not go to state archives, not waste so many days, months, and years of hard work. But there is a solution. And here is my Yachim, as I mentioned before. Surname, last name do not have letter A, E in English. Here is E. It is a wife. In Serbia, we call wife žena. So I know it is E, and upper it is not E. His whole family, I got it from my church record books. Everyone is there. His wife is Myrt. His sons was Zdravko, Kjatr, and Vladimir. And he had two daughters, Stania and Sinja. He had daughter-in-law, his brother wife called Anoka, and her son Rajko with them. I had all of them, but I didn't realize. I realized when I put all those 1901 house in Excel spreadsheet and search for Yachim. In that spreadsheet, Yachim was only one. And later they told me it is only one in whole area. There was years of living for all of them. 35, 10, 4, 20, 3, 30, and 3. And after that, it was their property. How many lands they own, how many homes, how many stables, and so on. How many, what value did they their property, how many it was. And for example, you see it at the bottom of that part, it is number 25. 25 is little, very little. Upper part is 124. They had better land and better and a larger land, but my Yachim was having income of 6 thalers. It was Austro-Hungarian money for payment someone for labor to work, and 6 thalers was rich. Approximately it was 3 to 4 thalers there in Serbia. 6 thalers of 1901 homes, 6 thalers and householders, 6 thalers and upper received only 10 of them. So he was first in the first decade, first 10 over by income. And so he was good with the 25 value of property because he had income.
He had other income. Yeah.
Yes, proper income and so on. And here is patronymic. And I now know that my second ancestor, Uroš Milinko, is his father name.
Mm-hmm.
He was serving about 1 year in prison for using patronymic in that after
Whoa,
the census,
that's wow.
because a census collector, census writer told him not use patronymic. You'll go to jail,
Mm.
to prison. He said, that's no matter. I will go to jail. I will go to prison. I must use patronymic. And also I found his wife and daughter and brother and brother's wife. It is something I don't understand properly. Why, for example, in the previous case, they used the name daughter-in-law or sister-in-law. I don't know, his brother wife.
That would be sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law, yes, yes. And in this case, they used same expression, same term as wife and sister-in-law. Wife is a žena, sister-in-law is also žena. I don't know why, but it happened.
Mm.
And in the last part, it is mother, Stanka. It means his father was dead.
She's a widow.
She is a widow, yes.
Okay.
Because his father was alive. His father was had to be householder
Right.
and first in the list.
Mm-hmm.
And also citations. And there we go to most important part of Serbia, archives research. We go to digital repository of local archives here in Belgrade, history archives in Belgrade. I was amazed by their work. I was going to meet them in archives to simply search their files for one of my ancestors who was teacher here in Belgrade. But then I found it online, and I was amazed not to spend time around with not the obligation to go to archives.
Because
As I
of
mentioned to all of you, first it is a need to register only.
mm-hmm.
They had the English part of a site.
Mm-hmm.
In English part of site, simple button register. Simply put names, surname, basic information, and appeal to register with email. Very shortly after your mail, I think I got my response about 10 minutes later after.
Mm-hmm.
I got my username and password for that digital repository, and 3 parts of them. Now it is 4 parts, but fourth part is not so important for many of you. It was I don't recall how it is in English now. First part is a register of inhabitants of all residents of city of Belgrade between, I think, 1900 and World War II. Then we have a collection of church evidence books and Zemun Magistrat. Zemun is now western part of Belgrade. Belgrade is based on 2 rivers, Dunau, which simply flows from Germany to other countries, Austria, Czechia, Hungary, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Sava, river Sava is on the west border of then Belgrade. It was border from Serbia and Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And Zemun was Austria. and they had simply documents about them. With the first part, when someone chose residence of Belgrade, it is in upper part of my slide. I don't know how to put it right. It is opportunity to search. That part of site or the digital repository is fully researchable by last name. It could be in Latinic, in Cyrillic, whatever, in English. And after putting last name as search term, we had the list of all people who lived in Belgrade, had residence in Belgrade during that period for about 50 years, maybe so, and simply click on details after that on desired name, and then it gives you a resident card for every one of them. For example, you see above Batalo Nikola, father was Ivan and mother was Jeca. Jeca born as a Milutinovic. I think in English it is Ni Milutinovic. I don't know, right? And in
meaning
detail,
her maiden name.
Maiden
Is that
name,
what we're
yes,
talking
yes.
about? Yes.
Yes, maiden name. Her maiden name was Milutinovic.
Yes.
Sometimes they put maiden name, sometimes they don't put. Like above, you have Juraj as father and Mila as mother. No maiden name for Mila. And when you click details, you have the first address of someone. Here is a I think it is Brejachka. I don't know in English what is. And I don't know now where is it, that street. We see Batalo Nikola surname and name. We see occupation. He was helper of a man who cleaned on the roof. We have in Serbia for smoke to get out from the
chimney.
house.
He was a chimney, and they call them chimney sweeps.
Yes,
like sweeping the kitchen out, but it's chimney sweeps. Okay, got it.
Yes, and he was he had a chimney with his mentor, his master, and he was a student for him to learn work, to learn job. Birth date was May 16th, 1911. Birthplace was Shashinci. Shashinci is a place in Srem, in Vojvodina, upper part of Serbia. Marital status, I forgot to put those also. Marital status was unmarried. He was unmarried. He was Orthodox, Pravoslavne in Serbia. And we have then father and mother names, Ivan and Jeca, maiden Milutinovic, and place Shashinci. Before going to Belgrade, up below that, there is part of his family. In case the marital status is married, below is the name of his wife, children, and their birth dates. And the second part of this, you have two parts of a card. On the second part of card is lists of all addresses where he lived and get residence in Belgrade, dates of residence dates, address of residence, and also householder of that house, of that address, of that residence. And in citations, I simply needed to put internal signature for that archives. They simply ordered me to do so, to be able to put it in my presentation, their work. in their archives. So it is EAB, it is local archives Belgrade. Letters UGB are for residence cards here in Serbia.
I noticed the copyright statement as I
Yes.
went to visit this website and
Yes.
did change from Serbia or Cyrillic to English. Very quick
Yes.
response, very good website. But I
Yes.
did notice their copyright statement.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They only asked that they only ordered me if someone of their findings I am preparing and showing, I must put internal signature in it for
Okay.
using their scanned papers, scanned documents in their
Makes
in
sense.
site in archives itself. I must get written permission from government of archives, director of archives, which I don't have, or I didn't at all go to archives anytime. But I think it is important for someone to know existence of it.
Well, I can correlate this to what happens in England and Wales. If you use something from the National Archives of the UK,
Yes.
and you want to give a presentation like this,
Yeah.
they for each item they have to have written permission to use it.
Yes.
But for personal use, that's okay. But if I were to publish a book of my family, I would need to obtain written permission.
Yes.
Not true from other resources.
Yes.
But I'm just saying it's not that odd for that to
Yes.
be so in Serbia. We have
Thanks.
examples of that elsewhere.
Yes. Yes. I hope it is similar, because I think we don't need to be separate from others, from other archives, from other researchers. We want to learn from there. And as I mentioned, I was preparing my research to be published as a book with some vital records from local municipalities. There, those municipalities has how to say men in charge of permission
Yes,
for
yes.
those records, for all those, and I have to obtain written permission and put that written permission in the book.
Okay, that's a little
Yes, I
more
had-
strict, but
Yes.
I think every researcher, regardless of their family's locale, their ancestors' locale, must observe those permissions or restrictions.
Yes.
Yes, it's just,
Yes.
it's a normal thing.
Yes. Yes, of course. And here is a library. Here in Serbia, there are many local libraries. There are only there is one main library. It is called People's Library here in Belgrade, located here in Belgrade. It was a library. It is library without permission to loan a book from it. You could only read inside of the library their books, their materials. First, a library in Belgrade burned on April 6, 1941, at beginning of World War II, first day of World War II for Belgrade. Many materials was gone.
Oh, I know.
In the fire. And after that, they built another people's library. First one was near place where rivers Sava and Dunav got together.
Yes.
And it is in the Kale Megdan hill, most western hill in Belgrade, most western place in Belgrade. And after that, they built another place near Temple of Holy of Saint Sava, near of Kalemegdan, near of the center of the town. But for me, it is good that we have another libraries, many like this one.
Yes, you're in the
I am in it.
library.
Yes, because it is a good opportunity to learn a book. For example, and my father told me when he was studying engineering, as a machine engineering, here in Belgrade, he wrote his last book, and he was studying in Rijeka city in Croatia on Jadran Sea, and coming to Belgrade to write last book. I said to him, "Why Belgrade? Why didn't you write it in Croatia? Why did you have in Belgrade? There was one library called University Library, library for all academic studies, who has a connection with all libraries in the world, with opportunity and possibility to loan a book from, I think, Tokyo, and that book comes to Belgrade, he reads it, research it, and get back to Tokyo. And his last book was nuclear electronics.
Oh my!
And that books he published his whole signature. I said to him, "Wow, now it is not so good. It is not so possible, but it is possible in around Serbia to get a book from one library to be in another one, to on loan for some days, and there is also possibility for some fonts, some books, some magazines, newsletters to be available online. Like I provided the digital library of my birth town, Čačak. They put extraordinary work, put one of most important newsletter of my whole region. It is called the Voice of Čačak. And it is, when you simply click on that link, it gives you to this.
I see this.
You have books, newsletters, workers' newsletters, postcasts, etc. And in newsletters, there is a Voice of Čačak, or in Serbian, it is Čačanski glas. Voice is glass here in Serbia. And also you have part pretraga or search, for simply putting search terms, and it shows all mentions of that name in the newsletters. So I found my uncle, I think it is uncle in English, my father's sister's husband.
Okay, that's it's really if it was your father's brother, that would be your uncle, or your mother's, that would be your uncle. But otherwise, it's I don't know, a relative.
Okay. And he was in some political organizations here in Serbia. At the end of his career, he was director of some factory, and also he was minister for work and social issues here in Serbia. We had full, very big, not full. We had a when a river comes out of her and comes out and about 3 meters high.
Yeah, so it floods.
Yes. And it happened in 2004.
Yes.
And many people lost their homes, many people lost their lives. lost their properties, lost sheep, cows, and etc.
Yes.
And it happened in 50 years ago. Also, same river, same opportunity, same.
Yes.
And I simply asked him, what did you do? Near Čačak is a couple, I built about 10 monasteries, 10 holy lands for me.
Mm-hmm.
Every monastery is on the river, one path. And hill over monastery was going to the river, to down.
Oh my.
To simply destroy all in the hill. As I simply noticed wall around the monastery, very, very high wall. A river was there, monastery was there. When I said to him, what did you do? He said, Ivan, do you saw a wall? I said, what wall? Wall on the monastery. Every monastery has a wall.
Mm.
I said, yes, I did that. If I didn't do that, they were gone in few minutes, in few hours, in few. And so he left something.
That's just
Yes.
awful.
And
Yeah.
many newsletters, articles mentioned him, mentioned his effort for saving lives, or saving, for saving jobs.
What a blessing. Yeah.
Yes. And it is good for me to know so. Everyone has opportunity to search it, to search whatever you want in English, in Cyrillic, in Latin. There is opportunity in Latin also. I don't know, for example, why that my library in Čačak, on their site, Čačak-this-rs, on English part of the site, under publications, on digital publications, they didn't do anything. It is empty.
Oh.
I will ask them to put it something on it, like in Cyrillic or version of site. As you see, it is Cyrillic version. But I hope in English version it is all the same. They all need to change letters. Simply, it is not so much book through. And now I will talk about staff in local libraries, employees there. Without them, without employers in state archives, in local archives, many of us researchers couldn't do anything. We could spend many times there with no results. Knowing one of them, one of researchers here in State Archives in Belgrade was Koviljka Letic. There is her name. He was professor. She was professor in the school, basic elementary school and high school here in Belgrade for 42 years. And after got retired, got to pension, she started to work on the books, to publish books, to collect all materials available. She wrote a book about my father's school with a list of all people, with a list of all students, pupils there for about 80 years. And here is a book for my mother's side. All of her ancestors came to this book, to this school to learn. This school was celebrating 180 years of existence.
Wow.
And the book is about 2,000 pages long. It is very large. It is very hard to keep it.
Very heavy.
Hold it in your hands.
Yeah.
when I from her, I realized that she is preparing the book. I didn't know when it is going to be online or available for research. In Serbia, in a public people library, there is a so-called COBIS system. All published material get to be named in people library in their catalog and the name and put it. And so they update the catalog for about 1 hour, 2 hours. And I was amazed when I found out the book is on. And my first quest when I got to Čačak after publications of this book is to read it, to read book. I know her first book was about 400 pages. It is small. I thought, well, 400 pages for 80 years. So 180 years will be about 1,000 pages long. When I saw 2,000 pages, when I pushed up book, I realized it is not so good for me, for my hands. They said to me, "Father, here's your book." I had many cries to say so. And then I realized half of a book is a list of creepers.
Wow.
And as you can see, it is hard. It is for me. It was good. For example, in class in a year, school year, there was about 100 pupils. In every 3 years, one or maybe 2 or 3 my ancestors learned there.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 years I was not reading. I was searching only one letter. Last name begins with a B or S, which is last letter in Serbia. And if it is not that letter, I moved on quickly. I moved for at the very end of the book, about 20 pages left to do other books. And the director of library came to me and said, "Father, what are you doing?" I said to him, "Well, I'm searching book." "Why are you writing down names when we can scan those names to you?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Man, it is 800 pages names. I don't need to scan 800 pages." And he said, "It is not so much problem. Give me that book. What pages do you want to scan?"
Oh, wonderful.
And she pulled up book on scanner. It is 1.5 meter long. Put it page down, book from the scanner, next page. And he spent about, I think, 2 hours. He as director.
She has permission. She's the boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
He could say to his employers, "Please scan that book for me. It is important to do." He didn't say that. He just do the job. I was amazed. And also, I have to mention two of my close friends from there, Mrs. Olivera Nedeljković and Mrs. Tijana Bezanic. When I first came to their part of library, 2 of them was first to see among 5 of them, but 2 of them was with smile on the face, with serving, fully prepared to serve, to give anyone what does he needs, and with no pain, with no hate, with no such thing at all. I was amazed. two of them. And other of them seems to be my relative in some cases. I mentioned the last name Bezanic. It is my father's mother's ancestors, and she was married to one of them. But for me, she was Tiana. I didn't realize surname. I didn't care about her last name. She was employed in library. I was needing something, and she gave it to me. Put whole her soul and life and whatever he is needing to do so. And first, Oliveira is a person who has also opportunity and the knowledge to use modern technology now, when libraries are locked down, when no visual connection to readers with no other. He uses Zoom for reading books online for children in schools who loved it. And it was Tiana who sent me first time the library was open for children after 1 year. And all the children go to Oliveira. No one else existed in the whole library. And I was pretty amazed for children to understand her job. And here is first and only online research I would recommend here in Serbia, with all law difficulties about the permission to publish a books. And I was just talking to head of the heritage site, and of those all of them, he told me that they will simply put two parts of their library. One part with full permission to publish online. Second part was going to be internal part library in among us readers and researchers, from computer to computer, not online. And with efforts, I told him it is for me, for my explanation, because as I was going to propose one book published all tax lists and census lists from area of my mother's ancestors. And the man who wrote that book and prepared said to me, private conversation, private phone call, Father Ivan, it is good for you to ask this, because it gives you and all others opportunity not to only gain permission for this book, only one book. It gives permission for any one of you to come to me, to call me, to visit me, to talk to me, to have access to all of my genealogy research. Whatever you need to do, whatever you need to accomplish, I am here to help you. And for me, it is good for knowing so. It is good for knowing how to properly ask for permission. Here in Serbia, I think it is two ways of having those permissions. One way is to ask author itself. Other way is to ask publisher of that book.
Correct.
And in both cases, it is good for cooperation, for further cooperation.
Cooperation,
cooperation between authors and us researchers. And I think it is better. It is better, and I must say that I was shocked simply when I got email from Daniel with asking for those permissions and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Serbia, we don't pay attention so much about it, but it is good. It is good to pay attention. It is good to pay
Correct.
attention. And I hope also that in some cases, there is also in Serbia opportunity because our main here, director of our heritage site and society, is also director of a library, local library in Serbia. And he, as a director of a library, I said to him, it is better for you as director of a library to send email for publisher to give permission. And if you approach as head one to other, to publishers, to authors, it is better than me, than anyone of researchers, anyone was to say small ones.
I totally.
But in other case, I wonder if Carol didn't go to Metropolitan, I forgot the name. I think no one will do Sparta preservation and so on. And us small ones sometimes get to action.
Get the job done.
Get the job done. Exactly.
I love
hope
it.
You all enjoyed it. I hope
Yes.
it was good. For no, so.
I think it was very good. So, bravo.
Thanks.
I have learned, well, there's 2 questions outstanding.
Yes.
Karen wants to know, why did the government feel so strongly about the patronymics? Was it, or the ancestor? Was it tradition or religion? What was the pressure to stay with the patronymics versus the government saying you have to have a regular permanent last name?
Basic issue of patronymic is escaping to pay tax.
Oh. Okay.
Someone simply used patronymic, for example, son of Ivan, and Ivan a very large amount of them by name of Ivan.
Common name, yeah.
And common name. And migrating from one area, one region to another region. But with the last name, it is simply easy to follow. Where is he now? It is simply simple for police to get him to pay tax, and then whatever he wants. And it was better for I think it was better for everyone because in those days, in 1860, we forgot our oral
history, tradition,
oral history, and oral not only history. For example, in Montenegro now, there are people who know their ancestors, father, grandfather, about in 1405. And here in Serbia, we don't know.
Yeah. In Africa, they teach the boys, the elders in the village teach the boys to recite all their fathers for like 10 or 12 generations. It's just incredible.
It is about 30 generations. Some of them.
Yeah.
I saw a question.
Yeah.
About other researchers in Serbia that we could hire to research. If we can't find records online or someone, there is also, of course, that opportunity. And when I asked the director of its library to be here during presentation, he asked me about that opportunity. because we have many people around Serbia, around ex-Yugoslavia, who was researching in Vienna archives from Austria documents, and also Timisoara from Romanian Banat and Vojvodina documents, and also in Budapest and around Serbia. In about every town here in Serbia, we have. I think we have opportunity and men to do that research with something to repay. I will put something to say in shortly. I will put names. I put payments of local archives. How many do they pay for example, for scan image, for all others things?
Right.
And there are also opportunities.
Okay.
And how much it would cost. I now don't know, but you can email me, and I will put simply on Facebook.
Okay, I see on your Facebook page. Is that how you want us? Oh, there's this let me share my screen. Can you see this, Russ?
Yes.
That you
Yes.
can click to send a message to Father Ivan that way.
Yes.
And he can help you. You're saying that you will help them get in touch with someone who could do research in that part of Serbia.
Yes.
That's excellent. We're quite familiar here because we're a big country and we have lots of branches of the federal or national archives. Then we have state archives and historical societies. And then we have county archives, parish I mean, we have a lot of archives and everyone has a different plan. Maybe you can use your digital camera, maybe not. Maybe you have to pay 50 cents a page or maybe 20 cents a page. Each library and archive has different directives and different policies. Marty is thanking you very much for taking the time to share this with us. Let me give the link to, Cousin Russ has given you all the link in English to the Facebook page so that you can send a message to Father Ivan should you need to. This has been a marvelous experience. Thank you, Father Ivan. I just hung on your every word because I was learning and I was trying to compare and contrast with my experience in other country research in other countries. And I'm just so glad that all this is coming to light and that the various vital records offices and archives and libraries have been digitizing. I think when we spoke years ago, when we first spoke, that was not normal. This has happened in the last few years.
Yes. Then it was far away.
Yes.
From reality.
Very far from reality, and now it is the reality, which means that these ancestors can now be found. Okay, Cousin Russ, did you want to say anything? Did you have a question?
No, I'm good.
Okay, and Carol, did you want to say anything before we go?
I just want to thank Father Ivan so much. Whoops, I think I turned off my camera. I just want to thank Father Ivan so much for all of the work that he put into this for us, and to let him know how much I appreciated the opportunity to work with him. Thank you, Father Ivan, for all that you've done to help us. Thank you.
Yes.
Go
ahead.
I have a question for Cousin Russ. Is he okay now with health and all others of his family?
Everybody's good. Everybody's safe.
Thanks.
Yes. Okay. Well, I guess there's nothing left to say, but I'm giving my thanks as well and look forward to many more projects that we might be able to spotlight that you, as you become aware of them, Father Ivan.
Yes, thank you.
People have said to me, nobody's ever done this, nobody outside Serbia. I want to ask you one more question, though. I have several professional genealogy friends in Spain, and the tradition in Spain is not to study your ancestors. And I wonder what the general attitude is about doing family history research in Serbia. Are people, I know that some, my children aren't interested yet. That's just normal. They're busy raising their families. But what's the general attitude? Seems to me it's really positive. And I'm glad for that in Serbia.
Me too, me too.
Okay.
Just a minute to find that question about Zrenjanin and so on. Ovdje neko Marti, aha, Marti. Dobro.
Okay.
I will find for.
Is it something I can help with, or are we good?
We are good. We are good.
Okay.
I found Marty Havran.
Oh, Marty, yes.
Asked about Vojvodina and so, and I will put it in my computer to message her later.
Okay. And do you consider your Facebook page, the one that Cousin Russ has shared where it's in English, our main way to communicate with you?
But it is good. It is good.
Okay.
I put both in.
In Serbian and English.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay.
Better that way because it is in English. Because on my profile page it is in Cyrillic.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so folks, here's what I'm going to do. You realize I've made a playlist and it has the first two segments of this 3-part series. When Zoom processes this, probably later today, if not this evening, I'll add this video with the link to the handout over on YouTube. So in that playlist, and I'll let you know, Father Ivan and Carol, that I've done that. And anything I can ever do to continue to spotlight the work going on in Serbia, I am more than happy to do. It's been our honor.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, nothing left to say, but I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy. Happy family tree climbing, everybody. That's a wrap.